Hi and welcome back to BookTube with Amy. Today is going to be my last sustainable book box unboxing of the year. So the way I'm going to do this one is I'll do the book box as normal, I'll give you the stats for this book box, and then I thought what we could do is we could just go over some of the stats and have a chat through some of the book boxes that I've had so far this year, and just show you where everything is sitting, and then talk to you a wee bit about my plans for this series going forward. So this month I got this book box from an Etsy seller called Magic of Handmade Craft. So there's actually a note right on top here from the seller, and when she was packaging my box together she realised she was like missing one of the wee extras that she would normally include, and so they've put an extra book in which is amazing. So this is how the box comes. Let's get in and show you what I've got. So on top I've got some wee stickers here. These can all go in my journaling box for if I ever decide to do that ever again. And then there's a wee card here for the seller as well. So I'll leave the book to last because I always do that. So then we've got some teas. This is, oh, if it focuses, there we go, an elderberry and elderberry and sun. And then this is lemon ginger and manuka honey. We've got a wee candle as well. So this is a handmade candle and it is soy wax. It's pomegranate scented. That's lovely. I have another wee tea in here that I missed. Wee hot chocolate sachet there as well. Some biscuits. And then there's fluffy socks. Oh, Bailey is already trying to get in and about the sock. And then there's a mug as well, and it says I'll take all the books. And then it's book time. So I've got two books. Like all of the other mystery boxes and sustainable book boxes that I have tried, you can specify your genre on this. Oh look, there's a wee handmade bookmark in here as well, and they come with like a wee wax seal on them. I picked young adult to keep it in line with all of the other book boxes that I have purchased. So the first book that I have received is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I've already received this in a book box before, so this is already on my shelf, but I am aware it's a wildly popular book and it is in very good condition for it being a pre-loved book. I found another wee hot chocolate sachet as well underneath one of the books. And this is the second book here. And then I've received Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, which unfortunately is another book that I own, and would not in any way class this as YA. Right, let's chat stats. So, price for this box was $18.50, which I think is very reasonable for everything that I got, even if like I hadn't been substituted and gotten another book. I think that the candle, the amount of treats, the book, the socks, the mug, I think $18.50 is an absolute bargain for this. So for price I would give this box a 4. I think that is pretty fair. For quality I'm going to give it a 2. I am going to have to mark it low because of these books, and I'll tell you for why. So it is slightly disappointing to receive two books that I already own. I appreciate you do take a punt when it's a mystery book box, and like you obviously don't know what book you're going to receive, but I've seen so many other sellers now who are like, link me your Goodreads when you make your order, or like specify you don't want books by like a few specific authors, like if you have a lot of their back catalogue. And so I feel like this seller could have done more in terms of trying to figure out maybe what I had on my shelves, especially like you're not going to buy a book box for somebody who doesn't like reading, are you? So if you're buying a book box for somebody, you probably have quite a few books, and you probably want to make sure that you weren't getting them a book that they already owned. I also need to query, you know, the fact that they've categorised Conversations with Friends as YA, because this isn't a YA book in any regard. It is pretty adult, and if you maybe aren't a reader yourself and you have purchased this box for somebody else and it is a YA box, then you're probably going to feel like it's going to be pretty age appropriate, and this book, sorry, is no age appropriate at a stretch, and like you could class it as new adult, but that's quite a stretch. There's sex in here, there's swearing in here, there's, you know, loads of different types of relationship dynamics. It is just no appropriate for a teenager, in my opinion, you know, unless you have a pretty mature teenager. But to get this in a YA box, I think is pretty disappointing. So this is my biggest query, and one of the biggest reasons why I marked it down, because if you're buying it for a gift for somebody, then you're not going to have any faith that the book that is going to be in there is going to be age appropriate for this seller, which is pretty disappointing. However, the quality of the books are decent, considering they're pre-loved books. You know, the spines aren't cracked, not that I bother about that anyway. You know, there's no staining or torn pages or anything like that. They are in really, really good condition. So for quality, it's a 2. For luxury, I actually do feel like this box has been very luxurious. When I started this, you know, I says I wanted to sit down and feel like I was treating myself and have like a similar feeling to how I felt when I would open a Fairy Loot or an Illumicrate or a Chronicle book box, and you know, I feel like I was getting that feeling with this. I think that mug, socks, candles, all the treats, the book with the bookmark, I think that it's quite a luxurious box. There's maybe a wee bit more in this that, you know, has been in other boxes, especially for the price point. I think is really decent for luxury. I'm going to give this a 4. So for sustainability, which is, as always, the biggest category, it's getting a point because all the packaging is fully recyclable, and I didn't feel like there was any excess packaging. The books came in brown paper and string, which can just go straight into my recycling. The box was very size appropriate for the products that came. You know, the bookmark and everything that's come is like plain card that's been written on, so it can be like far easily recycled if I decide not to use this. And you know, they've given me a mug, so it's going to get a point for that as well, because this isn't a single use product. I'm going to reuse this over time. You know, whereas some of the boxes you'll maybe get smaller items that are just single use. I think it's good that they've included a mug in here as well, because I'll use this for a long time. It's going to get a point because some of the products are handmade as well. You know, the bookmark, the candle, they're handmade items, and so they are not massively impacting the environment in the same way that if, you know, this seller was buying from big companies and then splitting them up and putting them into boxes, it would be doing more harm to the planet. And then lastly, it gets a point because it's a carbon offset the cost of all the delivery and the packaging from their sellers to their customers as well. So I know that this box getting to me didn't cost anything in terms of my carbon footprint, which is really beneficial for me. So 4 overall. So in total that leaves this box 14 out of 20. Certainly not the worst box ever. Everything else is brilliant. It's the books that really let it down, unfortunately, which has so often been the case through this series. So my plans for this series next year is to definitely continue it. I wasn't sure if it was something that I was going to do or not, but the series gets a lot of really good responses. You guys seem to like it, and I do enjoy doing them, so I'm definitely going to continue it into next year. What I thought I could do next year potentially is buy the best box from this year again and see where that rates, because the best box for this year, which I'll talk to you about in a wee second, is seasonally, and so I can see how, you know, another box would mash up. And then I have so many other Etsy book boxes to try, and I have a few other companies to try as well. But if there's any company or any book box that you guys would like me to try out for a month, comment it down below, you know, send me a link to it, message me on Twitter, just get me them boxes and we can see how we go. But it's been really fun, and I've really enjoyed you guys commenting and messaging and telling me that you guys are thinking a wee bit more about your carbon footprint, because it was sort of for the aim of this entire series, which was brilliant. So the highly rated box this year, the best box, was an 18 out of 20, and that was by Second Hand Bookshelf, and I will link the video of my review of that down below in case you haven't seen that one. But that one is like a quarterly box. So it was the most expensive box that I purchased, but it was also the most environmentally friendly. Every single item that came in that box was curated and, you know, it was either made from recycled products, or it encouraged you to be a wee bit more sustainable. It was absolutely brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The worst book box I tried this year was from Hand Me Down Book Club, which I feel like as a company is growing in popularity. I've seen quite a few people like promote them on their channel, and I was just like, no, they were awful. The books that they sent me were all like second and third in a series. You don't get anything else in the box, you just get 4 books, which like is fine, but I couldn't read like 3 out of the 4 books that they sent me because they were sequels in a series, and I felt, I had picked like YA as my genre. I always have been picking YA to keep it, you know, like an even playing field, and the books jumped in age. Like some of them were like a wee bit vampire romance-y, you know, where you're thinking like, right, okay, you know, maybe 15, 16, 17-year-old teenage girl, and then one of them was like one of the Artemis Fowl books, and so you're thinking, right, well, that's definitely like, I would say middle grade, so you're thinking like 8 or 9-year-old child. What? Oh, are you shocked because you also read Artemis Fowl? So that was just a very disappointing box. I feel like there has been so many book boxes in here though that have just been middle of the road, and I feel like I haven't really found that one where I'm like, right, okay, this has converted me and I am going to buy this every single month in the same way that I've made commitments to other book boxes in the past. So I feel like I'm still on the search for that, and hopefully we will find it. But it's been a really cool year to have been able to promote and support so many small businesses, whether they have been through Etsy or whether they have been small bookshops. A couple of boxes have came for them, or whether they've just been, you know, smaller companies based in the UK that are making and distributing their own book boxes. It's been very cool, even if they haven't always been brilliant. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying everything that you're reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!